Hello everyone, just getting on a ride, a short ride. I know this time I really couldn't post a video as I do every Sunday. Not an excuse. I felt something was incomplete, something that I haven't done. I decided to compensate that going on a weekday. This is my top case, and if you see the tank, it's about 2 feet wide. So my house is on a bit of a slope, so you have to be very, very careful. But it's got a hill hold control, as you can see. It comes out here, which holds the bike by itself. You know, every time I ride this bike, I'm always in awe. I'm always in awe with this bike. I'm going out with a purpose. I've got some work, so I decided, why don't I combine work with pleasure. It's always a pleasure to ride this bike. So I will do about 150 kilometers right today, which is decent. I was very fortunate to get the XP95 near my house, because every time I went to that petrol pump, they would never have XP95, or the machine was faulty, so I would eventually end up just putting the 93 octane fuel. I mean, there's nothing wrong in putting that fuel, as I keep saying, but the 95 octane, I do think there's a bit of a difference when you use that fuel in the bike. It's about 3:28 in the afternoon. You know, there was a comment that I had on my video that somebody probably watching from outside India said, you know, is it really safe to overtake from the left? And honestly, I don't have an answer. But in India, because the moment you find an obstacle in the front, most of the people start coming towards the left, right? Big vehicles going. I think the only opportunity that you have to overtake them is from the left, and that's why we do it. So overtaking from the left is definitely not the right thing to do. The quick shifter. Just a quick comment on the quick shifter of this bike, which basically is to upshift your gears. It is very, very smooth in third to fourth, to fourth to fifth, to fifth to sixth. It's a bit jerky when you do it from first to second and second to third. Look at the way, you know, when you kind of lean in the corner, the confidence this bike gives you. And I genuinely feel that, you know, I've owned other bikes as well prior to this, and the one that I had, I keep saying this is the Ninja 1000 SX. I always felt it's about the bike. The Ninja 1000 SX, a brilliant bike, you know, 2-way inline 4. It was more about the bike, right? More than the rider. The BMW 1250 GS or the GSA is not just about the bike, it's also about the rider. Now I think that's what makes this bike so different, that the way this bike has been designed is just not from a bike standpoint, but also from a rider standpoint. And that's one of the reasons why it's very easy to ride this bike whether you like it or not. I'm sure there's a lot of wind blast coming, so I'm going to get my windscreen to its highest position. There you go. Okay. And yeah, so what we're saying, just going back on the subject again, is this bike is about the bike itself and also about the rider. Now that makes it very unique, because as a rider you feel extremely confident and comfortable on the bike. I think that's what sets this bike apart from the rest of the bikes in this category. So this bike has an auto blipper and a quick shifter as well. Auto blipper, for those who probably are not familiar with the term, is basically downshifting. So without pressing the clutch, I'm going to downshift to fifth, I'm going to downshift fourth, and basically to upshift you need to continuously accelerate. So for example, I'm in third, so I'm going to keep accelerating, and then now I'm going to upshift. You don't let the throttle down, right? Because if you do it, then the quick shifter won't work. And same thing goes, the opposite goes for the downshifts or the auto clipping function. Kada 42 kaka, mundu 36. Look at the way the bike looks when the sun is shining bright on it, right? So I just got some air done, 36 in the front and 42 at the rear. I already have fuel, enough fuel, no problem about it. It's quite bright and sunny, but not warm. In the city I live, this is the time of the year when winter actually sets in, and the winter temperature normally is, the minimum would be about 12-13 degrees, which we find very cold. So on that note, I'm back on the highway. So one of the characteristics of this bike is that while it is pretty quick, you really don't feel, the urge to ride it very, very fast. You don't. You want to go at a leisurely pace, and you just want to munch miles. As I said, the other bikes that I had, it was all about the bike, the pace, the speed at which you could ride the bikes, which at times could be a bit unnerving. But this one, you really don't have to put it to its paces. Like, you don't really have to rip this bike. You might be doing, let's say, 80-90 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers an hour. I think that's really cool, and you feel it's very, very comfortable. So as I'm saying, this bike is just not about the bike, but it's also about the rider. Let's get a bottle of water here. Hello, bhaiya. One more benefit of course, is there are a lot of bikes. I'm on a cruise control mode now. Relax myself to the back. 92 kilometers an hour is the speed I'm going, and this is so nice. This is so relaxing. That's what I keep telling you, this bike, even if you ride slow, you really enjoy the bike. And this is a decent speed to keep. Like this new road that's been laid down here on the highway. It's a very, very nice riding climate. Good sunshine, cool breeze. Not too much of traffic on the roads. So it's been so far so good. I'm really enjoying the ride. And that's when you feel like stretching a bit, okay, to just stand up and ride the bike. That gives you such a nice stretch to your back and quads that you feel immediately comfortable the moment you sit back on the saddle. Woo! Oh, look at the brakes, man. This is absolutely brilliant. I mean, there are two speed breakers out there, and I applied the brakes. Amazing braking power. Got a set of speed breakers coming in. Guys, come on, paint them in some color so people can see this, right? Oh, there is no road out here? No wonder he's going on the other side of the road. Okay, they're laying a new road. But not a problem for this bike to go through that road as well. That's what this bike is built for. But when you have a good road, why take the broken patch? Tema, chupista. Thank you. Ekontra miro? Local, huh? Thank you. Well, that's the local language of the city that I live in. It's a very sweet language. Added 2 more subscribers. And that was not by design, okay? It was an accident. Your mind is at ease when you're actually out from a concrete jungle and come to the nature's jungle. Spent a lovely time out on the roads, getting back home now. The beautiful sun is setting in the west, as you can see. It looks like a real ball of fire. Very lovely. What a sight to watch. So, you know, I've been riding the bike for the last 1.5 hours or so. The birds are going back home. And so is the time for me to go home as well now. The wind has got a bit cooler, it's chill. My mesh jacket actually helps me because there's a good ventilation provided in the jacket, so the circulation of the air is brilliant. Well, there are not much of twisties on these roads, but nevertheless, whenever you get a chance for a twisty, you want to look at the way the sun is shining bright. I feel like I'm riding into the sun. I don't know how it comes in the GoPro, but when I'm on the saddle and I'm riding on this road, I can feel I'm riding into the sun. What a feeling, man. Yeah, I don't mean to overtake from the left, but sometimes it's not possible to overtake from the right because these big vehicles would never give you way. So you'll have to drift a bit towards the left, but with a lot of care and caution. This is the highway, guys, and highways are a bit tricky. So you got to be very, very careful, especially on a two-wheeler ride. It doesn't matter what gear you're wearing. A two-wheeler is a two-wheeler. Riding a bike is all about focusing. Riding a bike is all about concentration. It does burn you a lot of brain energy. It does burn a lot of physical energy. I think it puts you into a state of meditation, if you really ask me. I was reading an article recently, and how far this is true, I'm not too sure. But it says motorcycle riding is good for your brain. Well, yeah, it is. And I can't agree more than that. Because every time I get onto the saddle and I'm on the roads, I am concentrating all the time just on the riding piece. Just on riding. Yeah, well, I'm talking in the GoPro, which is alright. And I do that when I'm doing slower speeds. But then when you're riding the bike, it's all to do with concentration. So you don't let any other thoughts come into your mind. That also works your brain muscles because you're focusing, you're dribbling. So you're constantly thinking about the move that will be made by the vehicle in front of you or the one that's approaching you. So you're constantly juggling. It basically means you don't get any thoughts, and thereby it does help you concentrate. Yeah, it also builds a lot of neural connections because you're thinking, right? So as they say, when you think, new neural connections are created in the brain, more neurons are generated. So yeah, in a way I do agree to this article that says that riding a bike is good for your brain. sorry, needed to overtake from the left because the left was free. I wanted to have a cup of coffee somewhere here, but then it's getting late, so I'm gonna head home and have some tea. It was absolutely fun riding today after such a long time. Guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna bring this vlog to an end. Please subscribe to my channel, smash the bell icon, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down.